Hi everyone, welcome to Cheating Wife Stories Tales. Thanks for joining us. Today we've got a brand new story to share with you. Hi, my name is James and I'm 55 years old, so let's begin. I always believed I had the perfect life. A loving wife, a stable job, a home that I worked my ass off to pay for. We weren't millionaires, but we were comfortable. Or at least, I thought we were. That illusion shattered one unassuming Thursday afternoon. I had planned to stay late at work that day, but fate had other plans. My boss let us out early, a rare treat. He told us to take the rest of the day off, spend time with family, unwind. I smiled, thinking how happy Sophia would be to see me home early. Maybe we could grab dinner together, go for a walk, reconnect like we used to. The drive home was peaceful, the sun casting golden hues across the neighborhood. As I pulled into the driveway, I noticed something unusual, a sleek, black Mercedes parked a few houses down. It wasn't a neighbor's car. The thing looked like it belonged to some Wall Street executive, not anyone from our middle-class suburb. Still, I brushed it off. Maybe a visitor, a lost Uber driver. I had bigger things to focus on, like surprising my wife. I unlocked the front door and stepped inside. Silence. The TV was off, no music play. Sophia usually had some true crime podcast droning in the background, but today, nothing. My gut tightened, but I pushed the feeling aside. Maybe she was napping. I set my keys down, took off my jacket, and made my way upstairs. As I reached the bedroom door, I heard it. A low, breathy moan, then a deep, masculine chuckle. My whole body froze. The kind of freeze where your mind refuses to catch up with what your ears are hearing. Maybe I misheard. Maybe she was watching a movie. Maybe. Another sound. Sheets rustling. A whisper. God, I wish we had more time. And that was it. That was the moment my heart shattered. I didn't knock. I didn't hesitate. I pushed the door open, and there they were. Sophia. My wife of 6 years. And him. He looked like he belonged on a magazine cover, sharp suit pants discarded at the foot of the bed, an expensive watch glinting in the dim light, a perfectly styled haircut that probably cost more than my monthly car payment. He wasn't some random guy. No, I knew exactly who he was. Alex Carter. Big shot investor from the Capitol. His face was plastered all over the business news. A man with money, power, and apparently, a thing for married women. And Sophia? My Sophia? She wasn't in pajamas, wasn't lounging in an old college t-shirt like she usually did at home. No. She was wearing a red lace set, lingerie I had never seen before. Turns out, I had bought it. Just not for me. For a long moment, none of us moved. Time stretched, thick and suffocating. Sophia's eyes went wide with panic. She scrambled to grab the sheets, her face draining of color. Nathan, on the other hand, had the audacity to look annoyed. As if I was the one intruding. Honey, I can explain, Sophia stammered, her voice breaking. Explain? Explain what? How this was some kind of misunderstanding. That she had tripped and fallen into bed with a millionaire? Nathan sat up, reaching for his pants with an air of nonchalance. Look, man, let's be adults about this. Adults? Adults? I clenched my fists so hard my knuckles cracked. Every fiber of my being screamed at me to punch him. To grab his fancy watch and shove it down his throat. To tear this whole damn room apart. But I didn't. Instead, I laughed. A cold, humorless laugh that made both of them flinch. Oh. This is rich, I said, shaking my head. Real rich. Sophia looked like she was about to cry. Please, just let me explain. I stepped back, taking in the scene one last time. My wife, tangled in sheets, wearing lingerie I had unknowingly bought her. Nathan, hurriedly pulling on his tailored pants like a man caught in the wrong house. It was almost comical. Almost. The room smelled like perfume. Not Sophia's usual one. Something heavier, muskier. I wondered if she wore it just for him. I spotted an open bottle of wine on the nightstand, 2 glasses, one half empty. A candle flickered near the dresser, casting a soft glow on their betrayal. How romantic. Sophia sniffled, her lip quivering. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I let out another laugh, shaking my head. Oh. Yeah? How is it supposed to be, Sophia? Were you hoping to squeeze in a quickie before I got home? Maybe have dinner with me like nothing happened? She opened her mouth but closed it again, her hands gripping the sheets like they could somehow shield her from this moment. Nathan, now fully dressed, adjusted his cufflinks. Look, let's just be rational. No need to blow this out of proportion. Rational? Out of proportion? This pompous bastard had just destroyed my marriage, and he wanted me to be rational? I stepped closer, lowering my voice. Get out. He met my gaze, his expression unreadable. I was just leaving. I stepped aside, giving him just enough space to pass. He walked out, cologne lingering in his wake. The sound of his footsteps echoed down the hall, and then the front door clicked shut. Sophia let out a breath, her hands trembling. Please, can we talk? I stared at her, my mind racing. Talk? About what? How long had this been going on? How many times had she laughed at my stupid jokes, kissed me goodbye, and then crawled into bed with him? I turned on my heel and walked out, ignoring Sophia's desperate calls behind me. I wasn't running away. No, this wasn't the end. This was the beginning of a war. I don't remember walking down the stairs. I don't remember opening the front door. But suddenly, I was outside, my hands gripping the porch railing so hard my fingers went numb. My heart was pounding, my ears were ringing, and a white-hot fury boiled in my veins. I wanted to turn back. I wanted to grab Alex Carter by the collar, drag him onto the front lawn, and beat him until he forgot his own damn name. I wanted to scream at Sophia until she felt even a fraction of the betrayal ripping through me. But instead, I laughed again. A deep, bitter laugh that clawed its way out of my throat, hollow and unhinged. I heard the door creak open behind me. Please, talk to me, Sophia's voice wavered. I turned slowly, meeting her tear-streaked face. Talk. Oh, sweetheart, I think we're past that, don't you? Her bottom lip trembled. I made a mistake. I raised an eyebrow. A mistake. She nodded frantically, stepping toward me like she could just close the distance and erase everything. I swear, it didn't mean anything. I got caught up in something stupid and... I held up a hand, silencing her. Sophia, you don't trip and fall onto another man's dick. That's not how mistakes work. She flinched, a sob escaping her lips. Please, I still love you. That was it. That was the moment something inside me snapped. My hands were shaking. I could feel my entire body vibrating with the need to destroy something. Anything. I grabbed the potted plant by the door, the one Sophia had picked out on some overpriced home decor site, and hurled it onto the pavement. It shattered into 100 pieces, soil spilling across the concrete. Sophia gasped, stepping back. James. I turned to face her fully, my breath coming in ragged bursts. How long? She swallowed hard, her eyes darting away. It wasn't. How long? I warned. Tears streamed down her face. 6 months. 6 months. Half a year. I had been sharing my home, my bed, my life with a woman who had been sneaking around behind my back for 6 goddamn months. My fists clenched, my nails digging into my palms. Did you ever even love me? Sophia let out a broken sob. Of course I did. I do. It just happened. I shook my head. No. See, things don't just happen, Sophia. You made choices. Over and over again. You lied to my face. You let me hold you at night, kiss you, tell you I loved you, all while you were screwing some rich asshole behind my back." She sobbed harder, covering her face with her hands. "I didn't want to hurt you." I laughed again, sharp and venomous. "Well, congratulations. You failed." Silence stretched between us, thick and suffocating. Then I saw it. The black Mercedes pulling away from the curb. Alex Carter was running. Like a coward. Like a man who knew he had just blown up someone else's life and couldn't be bothered to deal with the fallout. I turned back to Sophia, my voice eerily calm. "Pack a bag." She blinked. What? "You heard me," I said, stepping closer. "Get your shit and get out." Her hands clenched into fists. "But this is our home." "No." I cut in. "This was our home. Now it's just mine." Her eyes flashed with something. Defiance. Desperation. Maybe both. "You can't just kick me out." I tilted my head, a cold smirk curling my lips. "Watch me." Sophia stood there, frozen in place, like she was waiting for me to take it back. But I wouldn't. I couldn't. Every second she stood in front of me felt like another knife twisting in my gut. She finally let out a shaky breath and turned toward the house. I followed her inside, watching as she grabbed a duffel bag and started stuffing clothes into it. She was still crying, but I felt nothing. No sympathy. No regret. Just a burning rage that refused to die. When she was done, she turned to me one last time, her voice barely above a whisper. "Where am I supposed to go?" I shrugged. "Not my problem." Her face crumpled, and she walked past me, bag slung over her shoulder. The front door opened, then clicked shut. And just like that, she was gone. I stood there for a long time, staring at the empty hallway, listening to the deafening silence that had replaced the life I once knew. But this wasn't over. No, this was just the beginning. Alex Carter thought he could waltz into my life and take what was mine. He had no idea who he was dealing with. The silence of an empty house can be deafening. After Sophia left, I stood in the middle of my living room, staring at the walls like they might give me answers. The rage inside me hadn't subsided. If anything, it had sharpened into something cold, something calculating. I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. I needed to know everything. How long had she been lying to me? Was Nathan the only one? How deep did this betrayal go? I had spent years thinking I had the perfect wife, the perfect marriage. Now, I wasn't going to stop until I uncovered every single disgusting truth she had hidden from me. I started with her laptop. Sophia wasn't exactly a tech genius. She used the same password for everything, our anniversary date. I typed it in, and just like that, her world was laid bare before me. Emails, messages, social media accounts. I sifted through them, my heart hammering in my chest, my stomach twisting with every click. And then I found it. An email thread with a subject line that made my blood run cold. "Can't wait to see you again." It wasn't just Nathan. There had been others. A lot of them. My fingers tightened into fists as I scrolled through the conversations. Names I didn't recognize, messages that left no room for misinterpretation. Hotel reservations, excuses she had fed me about work trips and girls' nights out. Pictures of her in lingerie I had never seen her wear for me, posing in hotel rooms I had never been in. I wanted to punch a hole in the screen. Instead, I grabbed my phone and started making calls. First, her best friend, Anna. Anna hesitated at first, but when I told her what I had found, the floodgates opened. "James, I wanted to tell you so many times," she whispered. "But I was scared. Sophia, she's been doing this for years." Years. The word hit me like a sledgehammer. "How long?" I forced myself to ask. Anna sighed heavily. "I don't know exactly, but at least 3 years. Maybe more. 3 years. 3 years of lying, sneaking around, playing the role of a devoted wife while she was out there acting like she wasn't married at all. I gripped my phone tighter. "Did you know about Mercer?" Anna hesitated. I had my suspicions. But Sophia kept things quiet. She was careful. Until she wasn't. I ended the call without another word. I spent the next few hours diving deeper, collecting evidence. Bank statements showing expensive gifts I never received, credit card charges at five-star hotels and exclusive restaurants I had never been to. Every piece of information felt like another knife to the gut. But I didn't stop. I wouldn't stop. By the time I was done, I had a folder filled with screenshots, emails, bank transactions, and pictures. Proof of her lies. Proof of her betrayal. And I wasn't the only one who needed to see it. I sent the emails to her parents first. Her mother called me within minutes, her voice frantic. "James, what is this? This can't be real." "Oh, it's real," I said, my voice devoid of emotion. "Your daughter has been cheating on me for years. Thought you should know." Her father took the phone next. "Son, listen, No, I cut him off. "I'm done listening. You raised a liar. A cheater. She can explain herself to you, but I'm done." Then I sent everything to her work email. Sophia had a cushy job at an upscale firm, a job she loved bragging about. A job where reputation mattered. I knew her boss. Knew he was old-fashioned. I sent everything with a simple subject line. "Thought you should be aware." Then I called Nathan's wife. Yes, Alex Carter was married. I found her number in his messages. Her name was Olivia, and she deserved to know just as much as I did. She answered on the second ring. "Hello." I took a breath. "Olivia, you don't know me, but my name is James. I need to tell you something about your husband." She listened in silence as I laid it all out. The affair. The hotel rooms. The messages. At first, she didn't say a word, but then I heard her take a deep, shaky breath. "Thank you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. She hung up. And I smiled. Because I knew Mercer's life was about to implode, just like mine had. The next day, Sophia called me. I let it go to voicemail. Then another. And another. Finally, I picked up. Her voice was frantic. "James, what the hell did you do? My parents won't speak to me, my boss fired me, and Mercer's wife, Oh, I interrupted. "I take it Olivia wasn't too happy to find out her husband's been screwing you?" "James, please," she sobbed. "You don't understand it." "No, Sophia," I said coldly. "I understand perfectly. You thought you could do whatever you wanted. Lie, cheat, betray me, and still walk away clean. But actions have consequences. And you? You're finally facing yours." She kept crying, kept begging, but I just listened, letting her desperation wash over me like a cleansing fire. When she finally stopped, I said the last words I would ever say to her. "Goodbye, Sophia." Then I hung up. And I felt lighter than I had in years. But I wasn't done yet. Alex Carter thought he could steal from me and get away with it. He was about to find out just how wrong he was. I didn't just want Sophia to suffer, I wanted her entire world to crumble around her. She had stolen years of my life, my trust, my dignity. Now, I was going to take everything from her. I started with Alex Carter. I had already given Olivia the truth, but that wasn't enough. Mercer was a businessman, a public figure with a carefully curated image. An image that I was about to shatter. I compiled all the evidence I had on him, the hotel receipts, the suggestive texts, the pictures Sophia had sent him. Then I sent it all to his board of directors. Nathan had built his company on the illusion of integrity, of being a family man. That illusion shattered when the scandal hit. His business partners turned on him. Investors pulled out. Within days, his company's stock was in freefall. His name was Poison. And just to twist the knife, I leaked the information to the local press. They ate it up. Headlines popped up everywhere. Business tycoon caught in cheating scandal, secret affairs exposed. From power to ruin, the fall of Alex Carter. Alex Carter was no longer a powerful, untouchable figure. He was a joke. And worse, he was alone. Olivia had already packed up and left with the kids. His home was empty, his career in ruins. He went from wealth and influence to fighting off lawsuits and clawing to stay afloat. But that was just the beginning. And then there was Sophia. Losing her job was just the beginning. Her reputation was in ruins. No high-end firm wanted to be associated with a scandal-ridden, unfaithful employee. She sent me text after text, begging me to stop, pleading for mercy. I ignored her. Then I went after her finances. I had already filed for divorce, and with all the evidence I had collected, there was no way she was walking away with a single dime. My lawyer tore her apart in court. The judge granted me everything, the house, the car, the savings. Sophia was left with nothing. She tried to fight it, but the evidence of her affairs made her look pathetic. She had no leg to stand on. After the divorce was finalized, I made one last move. I sent everything, every disgusting message, every shady bank transaction to her landlord. The lease was in my name, and I wasn't about to let her stay in my house any longer. She was evicted within a week. I heard through mutual friends that she was forced to move into a dingy studio apartment across town. No luxury. No security. Just four walls and the bitter taste of karma. The job market wasn't kind to someone with a reputation like hers. She went from working in high-end offices to taking shifts as a waitress at a rundown diner just to keep herself fed. One night, I stopped by that diner. She was there, in her uniform, her once perfect hair tied back in a sloppy ponytail, dark circles under her eyes. She looked exhausted. Worn down. Like a shadow of the woman who used to flaunt her fancy lifestyle while laughing behind my back. I took a seat at the counter. She hadn't seen me yet. When she finally did, her eyes went wide with horror. "James," she breathed, barely above a whisper. I smiled. "Hey. Ash? Busy night?" She swallowed hard, gripping the tray in her hands. I could see the emotions flashing across her face, shame, anger, desperation. "What are you doing here?" She finally asked, her voice cracking. "Oh, just passing through," I said, taking a sip of my coffee. "Wanted to see how you were doing. You know, after everything." Her lips trembled. "You ruined my life." I let out a slow chuckle. "No, Sophia. You ruined your life. I just made sure you paid for it." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I loved you." I tilted my head. "No, you loved the comfort I provided. You loved that I was too blind to see the truth. But love? No, Sophia. You don't destroy someone you love." She looked away, blinking rapidly. "I don't know how to fix this," she admitted, voice barely above a whisper. I leaned back, sighing. "That's the thing, Ash. You can't. There's no fixing what you did. There's just living with it." She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Instead, she turned on her heel and walked away, disappearing into the back of the kitchen. I left a generous tip, just to remind her of what she had lost. As for Nathan, he didn't fare much better. His wife took him to court and drained him for everything he had. She got the house, the cars, the assets. He was left with legal fees, a collapsing business, and a destroyed reputation. I ran into him once after it all came crashing down. He looked like a shell of the arrogant man I had walked in on that day. "You," he spat, rage and humiliation burning in his eyes. I just smiled. "Actions have consequences, Mercer." He clenched his jaw, fist shaking, but he knew there was nothing he could do. I had already won. Sophia tried to call me one last time after everything was said and done. I let it ring, watching her name flash across my screen. Then, without a second thought, I blocked her number. I was finally free. The moment I blocked Sophia's number, I knew I was done. I had burned every bridge between us, salted the earth so nothing could ever grow back. I was free, but freedom came with a strange emptiness. I had spent so much time focused on revenge that, for the first time in years, I had no idea what came next. So I started living. I threw myself into work, hit the gym, reconnected with old friends, people I had neglected during my marriage. It was like waking up from a long, exhausting dream and finally breathing fresh air. And the best part? I was genuinely happy. Sophia, on the other hand, was drowning. Her once perfect life had disintegrated into a pathetic, miserable routine. The high-end lifestyle? Gone. The fancy brunches, designer clothes, expensive vacations? All replaced with long, grueling shifts at the greasy diner she now called her workplace. She wasn't living anymore. She was surviving. I kept hearing updates from mutual acquaintances, people who once thought we were the picture-perfect couple. They told me how she struggled to make rent, how she had to sell her luxury handbags just to keep her lights on. Her car? Repossessed. Her credit? Destroyed. The woman who once prided herself on status and comfort was now scrounging for shifts to afford basic necessities. And Nathan? Oh, Nathan was long gone. He had left her in the dust the second his own world collapsed. He wasn't about to drag dead weight along with him. She had bet everything on him, and he had discarded her like a used tissue. One day, I ran into her again. I was grabbing coffee from a local shop when I saw her sitting at a corner table, hunched over, staring at a cup of tea like it held all the answers to her ruined life. She looked broken, thin. The confidence, the arrogance, all of it had drained out of her. She noticed me and immediately looked away, ashamed. But I wasn't going to let her escape that easily. I walked up to her table and sat down across from her. "Long time no see, Ash." Her fingers tightened around her cup. "James," she mumbled. Up close, I could see just how much she had changed. The once flawless makeup, the high-maintenance hair, the manicured nails, all gone. She looked tired, older than she should have. "You look like hell," I said casually, taking a sip of my coffee. Her eyes flashed with something, maybe resentment. Maybe regret. "What do you want?" she whispered. I smirked. "Nothing, actually. Just thought I'd check in. See how you're holding up after," well, I gestured vaguely. "After you set your entire life on fire," Sophia let out a bitter laugh. "Yeah, guess I deserve that." I leaned forward. "Tell me something, Ash. Was it worth it?" She swallowed hard. "No." I tilted my head. "No." Her voice was barely above a whisper. I thought I could have it all. The excitement. The luxury. The thrill. I thought it would make me feel alive. But all I did was destroy the one person who ever really cared about me. For the first time, I saw real remorse in her eyes. Not just regret for getting caught, but regret for losing what we had. I could have kicked her while she was down, reminded her of every lie, every betrayal. But I didn't. Because, in the end, she had already lost everything. I stood up, looking down at the woman I once thought I'd grow old with. "Goodbye, Sophia." She didn't stop me. Didn't call after me. Just sat there, staring at her tea, alone in the wreckage of the life she had built with her own selfish choices. Weeks passed, then months. I moved on. For real this time. I met new people, started dating again, found joy in the simple things that I had taken for granted during my marriage. And one night, as I stood on my balcony, looking out at the city lights, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: peace. Sophia's suffering didn't end there. I later heard that she lost her apartment, unable to keep up with rent. She moved in with a friend, but that didn't last long. Nobody wants to share space with someone who brings nothing but drama and regret. Eventually, she ended up back in her hometown, living with her parents. The same parents she once bragged about being too good for. Mutual acquaintances told me that she was barely scraping by, working 2 jobs just to survive. People who once admired her wanted nothing to do with her. She wasn't the glamorous, put-together woman they used to know. She was a cautionary tale. And Nathan? He didn't fare much better. His wife drained him for everything in the divorce. He tried to rebuild his business, but his reputation was shattered. No one wanted to do business with a man whose name was synonymous with scandal. He ended up moving away, trying to start over in another state. But some stains don't wash out. One day, I got a message. An unknown number. Sophia, James. I know I don't deserve this, but can we talk? Just once? I stared at the message for a long time. The last remnant of my past, reaching out with one final plea. Then, without hesitation, I deleted it. I was finally free. And I was never looking back. If you know someone who needs to hear this, send this video to them. And if you've been through something similar, let me know how you handled it. Until next time, take care and stay sharp.